Good morning. Welcome to Math on Wednesday, March 25th. And our objectives for today are to read and write numbers to 99,999 and also to multiply numbers by 1,000, which we've already done multiplying by 10 and multiplying by 100. So hopefully this is a pretty easy concept for us to address. So let's start with today with our Bible verse, and pretty much we are the same one we've been using. Where did it go? Really, it's just I want us to focus on the fact that math it allows us to set our eyes on the Lord because of the characteristic of math is similar to that of God. The fact that it doesn't change, and our Heavenly Father does not change. And again, He is the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow. And our math facts are the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow. We need to memorize those math facts and realize that they don't change. So that's really all I wanted to point out today for our biblical perspective. So I am going to start over here. So move with me if you don't mind. Try to get that where we can see it all. All right. We are in primitive days here, so bear with me. All right, so I wanted to point out, and this is something we've gone over before, but I don't know how much you remember. Remember, place value houses. We're going to call the hundreds a house and the thousands a house. Those houses are actually called periods. Let me get it. So if we have numbers in the hundreds, tens, and ones filled in, that is our hundreds period. And we'd read that number like 532. All right, now we have another house or period over here, and we have to separate those two periods with a comma. This period is called the thousands period, and we need to make sure we're paying attention to how to spell thousands for when we do it in the written form. And we will do that in spelling next week also. I'm going to test you on that. So thousands period. In the thousands period, again, we have a ones place, a tens place, and a hundreds place, okay? So it just repeats, okay? There is a pattern for that and for writing our numbers. So we have our hundreds period and our thousands period, and there's a comma between those, all right? So I'm going to move you back to the other side, and we're going to do some examples of that. All right, so our first example, everybody's texting, is, I'm going to read it, okay? Because being able to read a standard number gives you a clue on how to write it in written form, all right? So we have 5,000, comma, 280. Now we wouldn't say comma when we're reading it, but 5,280. Remember, we don't use those and words in there. Now, if I was to write that, I need to listen to how I said it. I said 5,280. So I'm going to do 5,000, make sure we're spelling 1,000 correctly. And when I'm writing it in words, I have to put that comma there also, okay? 280. So I'm writing it how I'm reading it. And that's why I've spent a lot of time with you on making sure you could read these numbers correctly, all right? Let's try a larger number. We have, I'm gonna give you a second to try to read it. Hopefully you can see it. Okay, I'm going to read it. 11,760. So how I said it is how I'm going to write it in words. 11,000, make sure you're spelling thousand correctly, comma, we need our comma in between. Here's a period right here, or a house, and here's a period or a house. And we still have to carry that comma down when we're writing it in words. 760. And this is why for spelling, I'm bringing this math and spelling together for these 2 weeks, because it's so important that you're spelling that correctly. All right. Now I need to move you down. Okay. So our next one, I'm gonna give you a second to try to read it. 76,288. No ands in there. Now this one is a little bit, has a little bit extra in it, because remember, when we have a tens place and a ones place, when we're writing it in words, we put that line in between the two words called a hyphen, all right? And you do that also in the thousands period, okay? So if you're writing numbers for thousand, in the thousands period, and you're doing hundreds, tens, and ones, you have to put that hyphen in between the tens and the ones again. So let's see what that looks like. All right, so I have 76,000. Now, here's my 10 and here's my 1. So when I write the word out, I have to make sure I put that hyphen in the middle, okay? Even in the thousands. 76,288. So I have my tens and my ones place here, and I'm actually writing that out. 80 hyphen 8. Up here, we didn't have a ones to have to worry about that. And up here, we didn't have a ones to have to worry about that. We just wrote the tens number out, okay? So that is your example of that. Give me just a quick second, because I want to write out something in word form for us to change over. A little bit of erasing today. I try to have it all written out for you so we can just go over it. All right, so today we're going to write out 2,000. Now after I say my 1,000, I'm going to put that comma. 2,600. I'm going to run out of room. 75. We'll just do something. We gotta do our hyphen. 75. Sorry for running out of room. All right, so 2,000. We'll write my 2. 2 would be considered a ones place, right? But it's in the thousand period, so I'm gonna put my comma. 2,000. Then I have 600. 70 is 7 tens, and then my 5 ones. Okay, so if you can read it, you should be able to hopefully fill it out. This comma is a huge clue for you to be able to know where those breaks in between the periods are. All right, and then we're going to multiply. This away from the glare a little bit. We're going to multiply times 1,000. We're at 8 minutes, okay? Yeah, we know how to multiply times 10, right? So let's do 8 times 10. Oh, I don't like the green. Doesn't show up as well. All right, so I have 8 times 10. Okay, remember the 1 when we're multiplying is like a mirror, and it reflects the other number. So I can multiply 8 times 1, and the answer would be 8. And then I'm just going to add that 0. 80. Okay, so when we're multiplying by numbers of multiples of 10, all we have to do is add the number of zeros to it. So then if I expanded it and I did 8 times 100, I would do 8 times 1 is 8 again, and add my 2 zeros. So multiplying by 1,000, what do you think? Yes, we're just going to add the 3 zeros from 1,000. 8 times 1, 8. Put my comma, and then add my 3 zeros. And I think that should, what might throw you off too is if you have like a multi-digit number, like 34 times 1,000. And so you're still going to multiply 34 times 1. You're going to write 34 and your comma, and then add your 3 zeros. Okay. Now, if I did 34 times 10, still have 34 times 1, do my 34, but then I'm just adding 1 0, so that's 340. And then if I did 34 times 100, multiply 34 times 1, it'd be 34, and I'm going to add 2 zeros, but watch, I have to look at it and figure out where my comma goes. I have ones, tens, hundreds, comma. Okay, so that throws it. When you're reading it, you have to make sure you're reading it correctly. You could read it 3,400, or you can read it 3,400. Okay, so for, oh my goodness, we're at 10 minutes. All right, make sure that you are doing your worksheet 101, A and B side, one-timed worksheet, practice subtraction flashcards, your extra math, if you've gotten onto that, we'll just add to that also. Have mom and dad look it over, make sure you're on the right track. I will send them the answers to it in the morning. All right, have a good day.